Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. If you're new, welcome to the stream. I want to do something a little different today. So the day has not ended yet. We're about 15 minutes, 14 to be exact, before the close. Just kind of wanted to get on, talk about what we've seen today, talk about what we may see in this last 15 minutes or so. Kind of what we're looking for here is we have a couple trend lines that we've been obeying pretty good. We have this upper trend line up here that started a couple days ago, or actually last Thursday afternoon, and we actually just broke that. So we'll see if we can get continuation out of that. And then we have a bottom trend line that we've followed all day today since the open. We got one touch here, two touch, three touch. After three touches, it's confirmation of a trend line. Doesn't mean it'll hold, but if it does break, we may get a decent sell-off out of it. We could get a little let's say bull trap here. If people are buying the break of the upper trend line before it reverses the other way, you never know. I don't play off the trend lines just because they're not too reliable, but sometimes they work out. We've been in a heavy uptrend all day today. Buyers are clearly in control, especially after that first hour or two. And usually on days like this, at the end of the day, if the last 30 minutes, 15 minutes, you'll get continuation to whatever was the trend of the day. So today, the buyers are in control. Typically, we'll get some continuation to the upside. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see, closing around 4170, 4175. Right now, we're inside this 45-minute supply zone, which was created yesterday morning. So a pretty good zone here, and the fact that we haven't had too much selling is a good sign for bulls. We'll see if they can continue this last 15 minutes. So the last week, almost week and a half now, we've just been in this wide range of, between 4075 and let's just say 4100, whatever. Here we go. Looks like we're getting some continuation, moving up a little bit. So we've been in this range of 4075-ish as the low to 4200. Draw that out. 4200 to 4180, 4175-ish. And this is just, when you zoom out on a bigger picture, this just shows us we're in a balanced area. Now, this could be consolidation area before we continue our move up after moving up from the lows of 3,800 a couple weeks ago. We've ripped up here, balanced, and we could be making a big demand zone on maybe like a weekly time frame or something like that. We don't know, but that's just a speculation that could be. Or it could be a continuation in this area before a downside movement. We could be making supply. All we know is we are in this big, wide, balanced area, and in the meantime, don't really speculate. Just play the zones, our supply and demand zones that form, obviously, as you can see here, within this wide range that we play off of. Once we get a firm break of either direction, let's say if it breaks up above 4,200, backed with some pretty heavy volume, and we're sustaining value up there, you can play the continuation of it and risk, a fallback into the balance area, and buyers are not present there. Or you can even wait for continuation. We get a break of 4,200. It goes up to, let's say, even as much as 4,250, and it comes back down and kind of tests the 4,200 and uses it as support after using it as resistance for a week and a half. That's your perfect scenario. You definitely don't always get that, but that's two options to play the continuation there. Or we could get a downside move, and it does the same thing up here, but the opposite. Breaks below 40.75 with heavy volume. You can go short there and risk a fallback into this balanced area, or wait for it to firmly break it, down to 40.50, 40.40, come up, retest this old support level, support zone as resistance zones, and then get short there. Again, that's your perfect scenario. Definitely doesn't always happen, but just a couple options there. All right, so we're about 10 minutes before the close. We are starting to move up pretty well here. Like I said, there's really not a whole lot of selling. Probably right when I say that, it's going to come in here. But this is a pretty good 45-minute supply zone, pretty good zone, as you got a clear basing candle and drop from there. And we're about 4 points from breaking it. All right, here comes some selling. There's something about the 50-minute mark, 10 minutes before the closing bell. I think it's related to the MOC, which is what market on close orders or market order close or something like that. There's just a bunch of people that sell or buy right at or a little bit before the market closes. I think that's what a bunch of hedge funds and I don't know, bigger banks do. And so right before, or right at that 10-minute mark or 10 minutes before the close, you get a lot of volume that comes in. And then, of course, that last minute as well. But it looks like on that heavy volume, 10 minutes before the close, some selling came in there. And we'll see if that drops it or if we just kind of balance here or if this little mini 1 minute dip gets bought up. All right, well, while we wait for that, before the day started, we had a lot of zones, a lot of small supply zones that were created overnight. We had a pretty good downtrend overnight after having a downtrend yesterday. We had this 30-minute. Let me go ahead and extend these, actually. It is definitely going to be messy once I extend these, but I'm not even going to extend them because we got these supply zones here. So you won't be able to see anything if I do that. All right. All right, but yeah, we created this 30-minute supply zone at 41.36 yesterday. Actually got a pretty good rejection off of it yesterday as well. We created this 1 hour supply zone at 41.16. A little 15-minute here. So, if we want to hold on to that one's at 41.09. Yeah, I really didn't put too much emphasis on this just because we had these two supply zones so close to each other already. This 1 hour at 41.16 and this 90-minute at 41.04. All right. So we had three good supply zones, and we were at the bottom of this range. I'm sure a lot of people were chasing it short, not really knowing we're in this wide range in between the last week and a half. And so they just see weakness yesterday. They see weakness overnight. They see we're possibly approaching, 4,000. They're going to break below that again and, fall to zero. I don't know. People get emotional when they see these extreme either downtrends or uptrends, and they just kind of chase it down. But if they did get short here, surely enough, they definitely got whiplashed or torn apart here at the open because right at the open, buying came in. We ripped to 4,100, struggled there for a little bit, consolidated before ripping up even again. I would imagine at this point, a lot of people saw that, hey, there are buyers here at the bottom of this zone still. So that kind of means we're going to stay inside this consolidated area, right? So if we're going to stay inside this consolidated area, and if we're staying inside the consolidated area, there's only one way to go, and that's up. It's a small risk at that point. If we're staying inside this area, let's say you get in at 40.95, you're just going to risk the break of 40.75 or maybe a little bit below. It could be a bear trap if it did that. And your reward is back to the top of the zone, kind of close to 41.75, 4,200 if you hold for the whole thing. That is a close to 100-point reward and 25, 30-point risk. That's a 3-1, 4-1 reward to risk ratio, and that's exactly what we look for. You can't beat that. So, if I was to guess, I would imagine that's why a lot of volume came back over here too. We had some good rip here, indicating buyers are still in the market inside this consolidated area. People loaded up here, and then everybody just got on the same page, and we ripped right through the supply zone. So that's gone. We ripped this little 15-minute here. It's like it wasn't even there. Ripped through that. Same thing. Even this 1 hour zone, which is a pretty good zone to show you on the 1 hour time frame. That's a great drop, base drop, and if you look on the 5-minute chart, you didn't even get a single selling candle here. Just stripped right through it. I think buyers were so strong with their conviction here that they didn't care about all the supply zones. And then we struggled a little bit with this 30-minute supply zone that was created yesterday at 41.36 before kind of selling off. That's kind of what you see. You see, like, the opening. hour or 2 hour, first hour, first couple hours, you get that clear move, and then we can't just really go straight up or straight uptrend or downtrend all day. And you do see it every now and then, but inside, I think you see those moves where you do have a straight uptrend or downtrend outside of these big balance areas. If we break 4,200 early in the first hour tomorrow, or we didn't get that today, so let's say tomorrow, then you could see a straight uptrend day. There's not a whole lot of supply up there, but when we're still in this big consolidated or balanced area, we're probably not going to get that because there's just a lot of supply that we still need to get through. So we struggled with that 4134, 4135, 30-minute supply zone, fell down, had a great bounce on overnight highs. Just a good midday balance while creating demand in the process. No reason to short this just because of the strong move in the morning. We created demand. Volume kind of died down a little bit. So at that point, you kind of realize that any big dip or any decent dip should get bought up. You have some protection here. And so this was about 11 a.m. Good bounce on overnight highs. Came up. This 30-minute demand, 45-minute demand zone was created. Was it at noon? Yeah, it was created at noon. And then again, indicating more buyers in the market. And we just kind of grind up from there. Continue to come up. We struggled with that 30-minute supply zone that you don't see here again. Back from yesterday. And then had a low volume selling, created demand again, and ripped through it. And I think this is what, a 30-minute demand zone? Yep, 30-minute demand zone, came up, ripped up from there. Used 4150 as resistance, psychological level, came back down and tested this 30-minute demand zone that was just created quickly before continuing to grind up. And now we broke that upper trend line that I showed you at the beginning of this video. We're still in the supply zone. Looked like we were moving pretty well there, but selling has come in. We're about 2 minutes before the end of the bell or end of the day here now. And it looks like we're struggling to break below 4160. If I pull up level 2, I would imagine, or even time and sells too. Must be a big buyer just absorbing everything on 4160. Oh man, yeah, look at that. I mean, you see sell 4160, 120 contracts on 4160. You see everybody pounding into 4160, just broke it. So you probably had somebody here at 60 just absorbing all of these sell orders. Yeah, that doesn't mean that whoever's doing that knows what he's talking about. We're going to continue up, but that's not a bad sign. Some people will take a trade off of that. All right, we got about a minute left. So we didn't get that continuation that I thought we might see. I figured we might end at 4170, 4175 and break through the supply zone. We're about halfway through it, and we're holding value very well, which is a good sign for bulls. But there was some more selling than I expected. 45 seconds. And, if you've been trading for a while, you'll know the volume is just going to pick up like crazy here. You can see it coming up. This is going to be the most volume you'll see all day, just within this last 30 to 40 seconds of the day. It's just a lot of, hedge funds, big banks, just buying and selling. I mean, they just have, I think, kind of what I said, the MOC orders, market on close orders, just coming in right before the close. And I think it just provides liquidity for each other. So if somebody has like 500 contracts and they want to get rid of it, this is probably a good time for them to do so because they know there's going to be 500 contracts on the buy side. Just a ton of volume where there's just, people are just exchanging contracts. 2 minutes, 1 minute, second, and there you go. There's the bell. All right, so we didn't get that continuation, but we still have this strong uptrend that we've seen all day, and we have this this trend line that has held so far. We'll see if we come down here and test it here in after hours and see if we can bounce off it, or maybe it'll even break below it. I don't see a whole lot of weakness, even with this little balance here. I still don't see a whole lot of weakness after today. So still no reason to go short. If you are tempted to go short, you think we're too high, we're overbought or whatever, get out of that mentality. You don't, on a day like this, you don't want to go short until we see new supply zone on at least a 15-minute time frame. get created. And right now, you know, it could be 15-minute spot zone could possibly be being created right now. We're selling off pretty good here. We won't know until this candle actually closes. So this candle will close here in 15, 14 minutes. If it ends even right here at 41.50, then we got some supply here indicating some new sellers coming to the market. And then at that point, if you want to go short, you know, have at it. Still kind of a strong move, but at least it makes sense at that point. You know there is some selling, so you're not the lone seller up here. All right. Well, I knew I threw a bunch of stuff at you guys today, so hope everything makes sense. You know, showing some supply zones, some demand zones that were created today. I don't usually mess with trend lines. You know, I'll draw them, not take a trade off them, but you know, I figured I would just show you guys there's a decent upper trend line from the past couple of days and decent trend line here on the bottom that we've created all day, and we just broke a little bit above it about 15, 20 minutes before the close, and we're coming back into that zone now in between this triangle, and we'll see how price reacts. As always, you know, we don't predict, we just react. We create our zones, see what price comes into it. We go long or short depending on how strong or weak it looks. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys had a good day, and I'll see you guys on this next video that I make. See y'all.